Hey, Shalom, man. This is Karma Kapash from Jimis London, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem Kakwadash. Want to give double honors unto the elders, the apostles of GMS, and Shalom out there to the hope for that pushing his truth and all sincerity. Um, Back again with another video. I'm going to title this video along the lines of, this isn't getting old, it's just getting sick. Right? Something along those lines, right? You got this. I got this article here from the Update, coming in the feed, right? It says 1 in 3 people who notice dementia symptoms keep it to themselves. Right, we know there's a whole bunch of illnesses and sicknesses out there that most of these people, have. You know, everyone's living with some kind of illness or disease or some sort of sickness, right? And a lot of people just, count this as to getting old, things like that. These things are just happen because you're getting old, and a lot of things go unnoticed or unchecked because you just think, oh, I'm getting old, so I'm supposed to get sick. I'm supposed to be like this. I'm supposed to be, feeling like this or acting like this or whatever. And people don't address things, you know. And like I said, Esau and his pharmaceutical industry's got you just taking a myriad of drugs to maintain some kind of function in this world. Life is not getting better, right? Esau will tell you, oh, the people are living longer, and that's because of his genius, right? His pharmaceutical inventions and whatever, health and all this kind of stuff. He will tell you that you know people are, the world is progressing, and like I said, living longer and whatever. But really, you're living in sickness. You're living in disease, man, and that's not really how you're supposed to really grow old. Not really. I mean, obviously, there's certain faculties that are gonna diminish as you get older. Of course, this body from its conception is it's gonna break down, right? You grow, and then once you hit your peak, you're breaking down, right? You know, so yeah, you're gonna lose certain functions and that kind of stuff. But you we ain't meant to be dealing with a whole bunch of stuff that these people are dealing with today, man. Our body is supposed to be still healthy. Okay, this is not healthy. This is not, dementia is not a healthy thing. It's not a healthy mind state. You got problems, right? Um, so let me just read a little bit of this and grab some scriptures, man, and show you, more what it's supposed to be like, man. And I said there's a whole different reasons why people's health is in decline, and a lot of it is contributed to Esau and how he runs the earth, all the chemicals he pumping into the air, into the water, into the foods, right? And then that's what you're consuming. That's a part of it, your diet, right? Um, but wickedness, evil, sin, that is a major contributor to why we don't function or operate properly, man, and that we're dealing with so much stuff in the flesh because of our own wickedness, man. you know and so we having to do these things later on in our lives, even early in your life. Sometimes, man, sometimes you catch these things from young, and you're still having to deal with it and cope with it as you get older. And obviously things get worse. But it really shouldn't be like this, man. It should be like a bill of health. We should be able to take care of ourselves and really be right. Do righteousness, man. And that is like the recipe of for a healthy life. Fearing the Most High and following His commandments, man. That's the key to a healthy life. You know. Anyway, let's get into this. Right, it says 1 in 3 people, 33%, who notice symptoms of dementia in themselves or a loved one keep their fears to themselves for more than a month. Survey suggests. The study of Alzheimer's Society to mark Dementia Action Week found people often suffer in silence or confuse early symptoms with old age. So they just think, oh, I'm just this is happening just because I'm getting old. When it's not, it's not really meant to, it's not really just linked, because you're old. There's something wrong. You need to, you need to address it. You need to do something about it. It's not just because you're getting old, right? People, they just get into that mindset, that this is how things are supposed to be, when they're not. That's not normal. These things are not normal. They've been normalized in this world because of Esau, and and I said, copious amounts of disease and illnesses that are out there that this world is having to deal with, man. Cancer rates and all that kind of stuff. That's not normal, man. These things are not normal. Right? So the poll of 1,137 adults aged 18 to 85 was completed online by people living with diagnosed dementia, carers, people undiagnosed who suspect they have dementia, and people who suspect a loved one has dementia. Of those surveyed, just 15% brought up the issue straight away, and 11% said that they still had not raised their concerns after spotting symptoms. So around a quarter, 23%, waited more than 6 months before they spoke to a medical professional. So the Alzheimer's Society has launched a new campaign. It's not called getting old, it's called getting ill. And that's what you are. I mean, yeah, you are getting older, of course, and eventually, you're going to give up the ghost, and obviously, lose your strength, and that's all eventually going to happen. But I don't mean to say that you should be totally fucked up by the time you're 70. You know what I mean? Before you pop the clock, you ain't meant to be totally fucked up before. You're not meant to be living a life full of pain and suffering all the way up until the time you actually die. That's not how life is supposed to be going. Right? And I'm going to show you some examples in the scriptures. Okay? So yeah, it says it's not called getting old, it's called getting ill, to encourage people to seek support in getting a diagnosis. The survey found that confusing dementia symptoms with normal aging was the top reason people stay silent, 64%. I'm supposed to lose my fucking memory. You know what I mean? I'm just supposed to lose all my faculties. No, you're meant to be quite well intact. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're meant to be quite well intact, man, because some people are. So obviously, the fact that you ain't or you can't run properly, it means there's something wrong. It says followed by not wanting to worry about their loved one and fears of how their relationship might change. Because it's a big, yeah. Once you find out, man, it's a big thing. It's a big bomb. That's happening to you, and yeah, things inevitably change. And people don't want to deal with that. And this is what we're saying. This place is no kingdom of heaven, man. This place is nothing to be glorified, because people are dealing with nothing but problems, man. People are not happy. People are not happy in this world, man. People just act like they're fucking happy. But people are always dealing with some mad shit. And they just mask it over by going out and partying and spending money and whatever, man. They just mask this shit up, man, because this world is not righteous, man. This world needs to be changed. Okay, people need to be taught and learn the right ways of living. And they're not going to get that from this devil. They're not going to get that from Esau. Right? That's why the Israelites need to be in rulership. Yahushua needs to come back and destroy this place, man, and establish the kingdom of heaven. It needs to happen. Because we're just on a downward trajectory, man. Downward spiral. And these people don't even see it like that. They think they're on the up. You know what I'm saying? They have no clue what's going on, man. They actually think they're progressing as a human race and all this kind of stuff. No, you're going in the opposite direction, man. Things are just getting worse, man. And people just can't admit it, can't accept it. So this place needs to be destroyed, and the real foundations of truth needs to be established. And that's what Yahushua is going to do when he returns, man. Okay, and put those fit to rule over the earth, okay, i.e. the Israelites, beginning with the elect. Right? And like I said, lives of people will get better, Anyway, so that's just really the point I want to bring out, man. It's you're getting ill, man. It's not just because you're getting old. These things don't have to be happening, right? So we're going to read some scriptures, right? So I'm going to start off in Genesis chapter 5, right? And I'm going to read some of this, right? It says, this is the book of the generations of Adam. In the day that God created man, in the likeness of God he made him. Say, made he him. Male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam, okay? Which shows you, man, the Most High made many men and women on the earth in abundance, just like he made everything else in abundance. All the other creatures in abundance. The fowls, the sea creatures, they all came in abundance. So did man. Right? But Adam was the first of the living. Okay, the breath was given, into Adam, the understanding, right? That was given to Adam, right? But anyway, um, verse 3, and Adam lived 130 years and begat a son in his own likeness. After 130 years, right? Way past normal people life expectancy, well, people not meant to be, life expectancy ain't meant to be that long, right? People ain't expecting to live to 130. Not in this day and era. Okay, definitely not, right? Some characters, they get, they get past 100 and maybe 110 even, I think, if I remember correctly. But you ain't expecting to live to 130. So Adam's classified as old in today's numbers, right? But no, Adam was young. And that's because men lived longer. People lived longer. We actually meant to live longer lives. You know? So male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam in the day when they were created. And Adam lived 130 years and begat a son in his own likeness after his image, and called his name Seth. And after the days of Adam, after he had begotten Seth, were 800 years. Right? So 800 years after that, he lived. Okay? And it says that he begat sons and daughters. Right? Again, we always make the points of like the daughters are not mentioned. The daughters are not relevant to the creation of all these nations, man. Okay? But Adam had sons and daughters, you know? And it says, and all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died, right? So obviously, the Lord appointed death in man, in Adam, in the Adamites, right? The mankind, right? And Adam, he didn't live forever. As the scriptures say, man was meant to be immortal. Okay, and this is really speaking about the chosen line, right? But we don't live forever. We do die, right? But Adam was living to 900, what was it? 30 years. 930 years he lived up to, man. So he probably won't classify as being old until he's like 900s. You know what I'm saying? But he was living strong for 900 plus years, living strong. You know? You're meant to live strong. You're meant to take care of yourselves, man. Live right, eat right. Right? But it's extremely difficult in this world that we're in, man, because this world is corrupted, man. It's decayed. All right? And I'll get to that point in a minute. So, and Seth lived 105 years and begat Enos, and Seth lived and begat Enos 807 years and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Seth were 912 years, and he died. So in general, you're going to see these numbers come down, right? Except for one exception, which I'm going to get to, right? Enos lived 90 years and begat Canaan, and Enos lived and he begat Canaan 815 years and begat sons and daughters. All the days of Enos were 905 years, and he died. And Canaan lived 70 years and begat Mahalalel. And Canaan lived after and begat Mahalalel 840 years and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Canaan were 910 years, and he died. Slight increase there, right? It says Mahalalel lived 65 years and begat Jared. And Mahalalel lived and begat Jared 830 years and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Mahalalel were 895 years, and he died. And Jared lived 162 years, and he begat Enoch. And Jared lived and begat Enoch 800 years and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Jared were 962 years, and he died. And Enoch lived 65 years and begat Methuselah. And Enoch walked with God after he begat Methuselah 300 years and begat sons and daughters. Okay, but he didn't die. Enoch didn't die, right? As it goes on to say, and Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him, right? The Lord transported him up into the heavens, man. Okay, took him from the earth. And Methuselah lived 187 years and begat Lamech. And Methuselah lived after he begat Lamech 782 years and begat sons and daughters. All the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died. All right, so that's the longest recorded living person in the Bible is Methuselah, 969 years, right? So old is just relative. Age is how old you are is relative, right? Depending on the lifespan you've been given, right? So these men, they weren't old. They weren't old at 100 and this and 200 and that. They were still young, but they were strong. They were strong for 100, 200, 300, 400. possibly up into the 900 pluses, they were strong. Okay, that's why they're able to live that long. You know, things were a bit different back then, but you know, the Lord changed the boundaries, right? But let me get, well, actually, let me get that first. Psalms 90 verse 10 says, Psalms 90 verse 10 says, the days of our years are 60 years and 10. 60 is 60 and 10 is 70, right? And if by reason of strength they be 60 years, 80. And that is basically what our life expectancy is. Esau makes it sound like, oh, you know, he come up with this number. And he's the one maintaining this number. Because like I say, you got some guys that live longer, you know, but our life expectancy is around the 80 mark, you know? And it ain't got nothing to do with Esau science. Right? It's just what it is. That's what the Lord set the boundaries at, right? So the days of our years are 60 years and 10, and if by reason of strength they be 60 years, yet is their strength labor and sorrow, for it is soon cut off and we fly away. And that's it. We live life in a hard state. Like it's difficult, right? We suffer for the most part of our lives, struggling with illnesses and whatever. We're not healthy, you know. But just because you're getting old doesn't mean that's the condition you're supposed to be in. No, that's not the condition you're meant to be in, right? And this is Deuteronomy chapter 34 and verse 7. And Moses was 120 years old when he died, right? So Moses, is obviously Psalms was obviously after Deuteronomy, right? So Moses was 120 years old, right? But it says here, his eye was not dim, nor his natural force abated, right? So a lot of people go blind and stuff like that. They lose their eyesight, you know, as they get to the latter end of their life. But as Moses got to the latter end of his life, he wasn't like that for him, man. He was, again, like I said, strong, right? His eyes were not dim, so he could see. You know, maybe not to the same extent, you know, he did in his 20s and 30s and whatever, but he could see, you know. And so his natural force, says, nor his natural force abated, like his strength hadn't disappeared. Now he might not be as strong as when he was in his 20s, etc., etc., but he was capable. You know what I'm saying? Not fragile. He weren't a fragile man at his age. He was just old. He weren't fragile. A lot of these old people you see, man, they're fragile as hell, man. You worry for them, like you're concerned for them all the damn time because they take a fall, they break something, they bruise and go to a hospital or whatever. Or like I said, they're on constant medications, man. They might, you know, there's always concern with the elderly because they're just not in a good state, right? But Moses, like I said, his natural force hadn't abated him. His eyes were not dim, right? That is what we should be looking to be like in old age, you know, to be healthy, you know. And like I said, you know, that's easier said than done in this world, if it's even possible, right? Because all the effed up stuff that's going on around us and affecting us. But you know, just because you're old, it don't mean that you got to be totally fucked up, right? That's not what you. It's not what you should be. Just you know, surrendering yourself to, man. Oh, I'm supposed to lose my fucking marbles and all that shit, you know? No, if there's something wrong, go get it checked out, man. Find you know, find out what you can do about it. Pray, fast, all of that stuff, man. You know, that's what you got to do. That's what you got to be doing. You know, and I speak for myself, man. I'm not the fittest person on the earth, but there's things I need to be doing. But you know, I'm just putting this information out there because you know it's true. It's true, isn't it? It's still true. And you know, like I said, a lot of people suffering from dementia and other things, man. You know, and some people don't want to acknowledge that things that they're suffering from, and you know, things that I mean, certain things can be looked at and corrected. You know, so you got to acknowledge these things, man, and take action, man. All right. So yeah, where is it? Yeah, so that's that verse 7. That was the point, right? So Let's see. Right, Joshua chapter 14, verse 10 says, and now, behold, the Lord have kept me alive. Yeah, kept me alive, as he said, these 45 years. Even since the Lord spake this word unto Moses, while the children of Israel wandered in the wilderness. And now, lo, I am this day 65 old. Right? So my man Joshua at this point was 85 years old. Right? And like I said, that's our life expectancy now. Around about the 80 mark, right? But what did he say? Verse 11 says, as yet I am as strong this day as I was in the day that Moses sent me. As my strength was then, even so is my strength now. Right? His natural force hadn't abated him either. But he goes on further to say, right? How much strength did he have? Right? What could he do? Right? So even so is my strength now for war. Like he can go out and fight on the battlefield at 85. My man fighting with a Zimmer frame in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Even me, I'm 30, 35 now, man. Man, struggle to get out of bed. Man, I'm fighting to stand up straight. Man's back playing up and stuff like that. At 85, Joshua was still able to go out to war. Both to go out and to come back. Man had the stamina to go and fight a battle and come back. That's not nothing of the sort, man. That's not what's going on today. When you get old, man, you're finished. You ain't doing shit. You got limited energy, limited movement. You ain't doing none of that. Yeah, that's why most people just, sit and watch TV. Sometime they might go take a walk to the shop. Limited distance, right? But no, Joshua 85 could go out to war. Still. Different levels, right? Read that. So this is Ecclesiastes chapter 38. Sorry, this is Sirach chapter 38. Did I want to save this actually? No, okay, let's read it now. Right, it says, honor a physician with the honor due unto him for the uses which ye have made, for the uses which ye may have of him, for the Lord hath created him, right? The Lord made everything in the earth, like the medicines to heal, the herbs and all that kind of stuff, right? Everything is here to take care of us. So if we do, get a something, that it can be treated, right? It's all here on the earth for us, right? And there's some people that are skilled at knowing what to use, right? These are these physicians, okay, that know what to use for, different types of ailments, right? Now, the medical industry today, the pharmaceutical industry, okay, don't operate like this, right? They're nothing but corporations out here just to milk money out of people, right? And give them petrochemicals that they ain't out here trying to do natural remedies, right? They try to give you man-made, synthetic, manufactured shit, okay, which is really just there to keep you sick, to keep you taking their, so-called medications, right? Because it's an industry. They're not here to they're not here to heal you, man, because they lose money. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make no sense. It's not a good business plan, right? So they're here just to maintain you being sick for as long as they can. That's their purpose, right? So they're not true physicians, all right? But this is, like I said, there's some people out there that are skilled in being actual physicians, man, that know, what herbs and what things to use and do to help with ailments and stuff like that, right? So I read that again. Honor a physician with the honor due unto him for the uses which ye may have of him, for the Lord hath created him. For of the Most High cometh healing, and he shall receive honor of the King, right? So the Most High provided all these things, man, but guess what? You got to pray as well, man. You got to pray to Heavenly Father to activate the healing properties of these things, man. Because don't take it for granted, just because you think, oh, well, I know what it is I need to get. Don't mean it gonna work. Don't mean it gonna work. And on the flip side, don't mean it ain't gonna work. Right? If you don't pray. And I'm not saying that for us because, we always give glory to Heavenly Father. But for these other nations that don't know nothing about the Heavenly Father, they don't pray to the Heavenly Father, but they still get healed. It's just the Lord's will at the end of the day. But for those of us that know, we ought to pray. So you take the herbs and whatever, and you pray upon it. All right. But anyway, this is verse 3. The skill of the physician shall lift up his head, and in the sight of great men he shall be in admiration. The Lord hath created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them. Right. So like I said, it's not trusting the Esau's petrochemicals, man, which they're inspired. I'll put it that way. They're inspired and taken out of the natural remedies of the earth, man. But like I said, they're manufactured and petrochemical, right? They're all like synthetic, right? Because Esau will say you shouldn't, or can't do natural remedies because it's not licensed. It's not what's the word? It's not controlled. They don't control it. They're not controlling it, right? They don't want you to get that, so they're not controlling it, right? To approve it, right? So they just want you to take their stuff, all right? But the medicines are in the earth, okay? Verse 5, was not the water made sweet with wood, that the virtue thereof might be known? He hath given men skill, that he might be honoured in his marvellous works. With such doth he heal men, and taketh away their pains. Of such doth the apocryphy make a confection, and of his works there is no end, and from him is peace all over the earth. My son, in thy sickness be not negligent, but pray unto the Lord, and will make thee whole. Right? So, like I said, I'm bad at this too, but in the sickness we're not to be negligent. Do something about it. Get what you need to get. Pray, fast, do all those things, man. That's what we're supposed to be doing. And the Lord will offer healing, man, if it is in his will to do so. Like I said, you might do all those things, and the Lord might turn around and not do those things, man, for his own purpose, right? Just like Paul, when he was afflicted with the thorn in his side, Paul would pray over it, of course, right? And then ask the Lord to take the affliction away. But what was I think it was Yahushua spoke with him, and told him that my grace is sufficient for thee. Meaning, look, the fact that you're even alive, right, and you got this truth now is enough. Like, because you should be dead, right? Just like we all should be, right? Remember Paul did great hurt to the church before his awakening, right? And the Lord saw it fit that now he's to as part of his punishment. That's what he had to sit there and deal with. Just had to deal with those things, man. And didn't heal him. And it is what it is at the end of the day. We all have to deal with whatever it is that we're dealing with, man. But it don't mean you sit there and don't try and do nothing about it. You never know when the Most High might, take the affliction off. But we do our best. We should be doing the best that we can to look after ourselves, and and do this work, man. Because our health is an important part to this, man. If she ain't healthy, man, how can you do this work? So we have to keep ourselves in somewhat functioning, functioning condition. It says, my son, if in thy sickness be not negligent, but pray unto the Lord, and he will make thee whole. Leave off from sin. Like I mentioned, the wickedness and the sin is a real factor as why we receive illnesses and diseases and stuff like that, man. Because ultimately, if you're deep, man, this Esau got this whole world messed up, man. But if we was all righteous, man, these things wouldn't even affect us. You know what I'm saying? Like, but we all got sin in us, man. There's always something, right? And sometimes we need to just, bear the cross, bear the burdens, that has been given to us. Bear the indignation of the Lord, right? Leave off from sin and order thine hands aright, and cleanse thy heart from all wickedness. Give a sweet savour and a memorial of fine flour, and make a fat offering as not being. Okay, something we used to do, make offerings, right? Then give place to the physician, right? So yeah, you do all this for the Lord. You know, you make the offerings, your prayers, you know, and you go see the physician, right? It says, for the Lord hath created him, let him not go from thee, for thou hast need of him. It says, there is a time when in their hands there is good success, for they shall also pray unto the Lord that he would prosper, right? That the physician would be successful in trying to heal you, you know. So you're both praying, you know, ideally, right? But we know, you know, these physicians today, they don't know the Heavenly Father. You know, you might have, you know, a brother in the truth that, you know, deals with all this, you know, herbs and stuff, you know. So, but generally, yeah, these people won't do that, right? Um, for they shall also pray the Lord that that will prosper, which they give for ease and remedy to prolong life. He that sinneth before his maker, let him fall into the hand of the physician. My son, let tears fall down over the dead, and began to lament, as if thou hast suffered great harm thyself, and then cover his body according to the custom, and neglect not his burial. And so that was the point. That was pretty much the point, right? And that's the job of the physician, right? A true physician. Okay, not these false physicians today, you know, that Esau's got in these corporations, man. Okay. It's Joel 13:4, right? It says, but ye are forgers of lies, ye are all physicians of no value, right? And that's the modern, you know, pharmaceutical, you know, what's the word gone from me, man? Industry. All right. These are all false physicians, man, because all they do is peddle Esau's BS, his mandates and what drugs they're supposed to be using. But Esau's the devil, you know, so he ain't gonna give you the things you're supposed to take. Okay, he gonna give you things that he want to give you, you know, and that's why we got a whole country full of sick people suffering with all kind of debilitating illnesses, man. Dementia's up, cancer's up, diabetes, and yeah, some sort of lung one or something like that, man. Another big killer. You know, these numbers just keep increasing, man. Heart diseases, you know. It's not the way things should be. It's 2 Ezra chapter 14. Right, it says, for the world have lost his youth, and the times begin to wax old. Right, so another reason, you know, is why, you know, you might even take herbs and stuff like that, and you know, eat certain foods that you need to eat, man. But you know, it don't seem to be doing the job. And part of the reason of that is because, you know, things are just not as potent as they once were. All right. And it reads here in 2 Ezra 14:10, says, for the world have lost his youth, and the times begin to wax old. Right, everything in this world is becoming old and worn out. Just like we get old, we get get worn out, get tired, and stuff like that these days, right? It's the same with the Earth. The Earth is into the latter stages of its cycle. Let's put it that way, because we know the Earth is going to be renewed, right? I can't really call it a cycle though. It ain't gonna go back through this cycle. Anyway, you know, this era is getting to the end of this era, right? It's been abused, and Esau's been abusing it, and it's not, you know, what it's able to produce isn't as good as it once was. All right, but let me jump down to verse 17 here, right? It says, for look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein, right? So evil and wickedness has also increased. That's why there's more disease. That's why, you know, why people are living with conditions like this. More and more people living like this, right? It says, so for look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein. Do you want more? No, that's the point, okay? This is 2 Ezra chapter 5, verse 51. He answered me and said, Ask a woman that beareth children, and she shall tell thee. Say unto her, Wherefore are unto they whom thou hast now brought forth like those that were before, but less of stature? And she shall answer thee, They that be born in the strength of youth are of one fashion, and they that are born in the time of age, when the womb faileth, are otherwise. Consider thou therefore also that how that ye are less of stature than those that were before you. All right, so we just read about, the men from ancient times, beginning with Adam, right, who lived well past any of us could even fathom right now, right? But even still, you had men like Moses and Joshua living into so-called old age, right? But they were of a different type. They were stronger, they were healthier, more capable than we are. We can't even get to their ages, let alone live the lives that they lived to that age, So we're weaker. What the world is producing, year after year is weaker than what it was back in the ancient world. And that goes for everything else. Like I said, the plants and the food and, everything that comes off from it. Because everything comes from the earth, right? It's just weaker. All right, so we get old and, like I said, with disease, more wickedness in the world, so with disease and all of that, right? So we need the world needs to be reset, and that's what Yahweh Shai is coming to do, man. Right, and the right way is going to be given to the people of the earth to live by. So yeah, verse 54, consider thou therefore also that how that ye are less of stature than those that were before you, and so are they that come after you less than ye. Right, so if we had more and more, if we had more and more generations come after us, man, they'd become even more feeble. The world itself would be in a worse condition. It says, as the creatures which now begin to be old and have passed over the strength of youth. Okay, because you're strongest in youth, so what you produce in your strength is greater than what you produce, when you're weaker, when you're older, right? Then said I, Lord, I beseech thee, if thou hast found favor in my sight, shew me thy servant, by whom thou visit thy creature. All right, so moving on to Isaiah 24 verse 5. So the earth is also defiled under the inhabitants thereof. Right, because like I say, evil and wickedness has been increased, man. So this whole earth has been defiled. People have been defiled, okay, with doctrine and philosophies. Can't even get down a diet right, so everything is affecting us, man. And I say we're being constantly tampered with, continuously corrupted, defiled. Okay, so things are just getting worse, right? The earth is also defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, and broken the everlasting covenant. Right? Because we've got Esau and rulership, man. You don't give a damn about, the ways of the Heavenly Father, the righteous ways. Okay? This is Exodus 23, verse 25. It says, and ye shall serve the Lord your power, Yahweh, and shall bless thy bread and bless thy water, and I will take sickness away from the midst of thee. Right? So it's all ultimately down to the Heavenly Father. If you follow a life of righteousness, man, guess what? The Lord has no reason to bring evil upon you. Right? And part of those evils are diseases and illnesses, man. Right? So the Lord told us, the Israelites, if we would serve him, the Lord is going to bless our bread, bless our water, and take sickness away from us. So that we could live a life like Moses lived, man. Just be strong throughout life, man. Strong throughout life. And die in peace when your time's up. But that's not the course that Israel obviously went on. They transgressed. It says, there shall nothing cast their young, nor be barren in thy land, right? no miscarriages and nothing like that. You know, your women miscarriaging or can't even have children. You know, those things wouldn't be known among us, man, because we'd be healthy. You know, so the number of thy days the number of thy days I will fulfill. You want to live long, full lives, man. But like I said, you know, we chose different route, man, and ultimately the Lord punished us for it, right? But we're gonna receive all that and more in the kingdom, man. We're gonna be eternal, right? We ain't ever get we ain't gonna get we ain't gonna come to the point where we're gonna die. So we're never really gonna get old. There ain't gonna be a number where you can say, oh, that is the old man. Like he's an older man, but he's not. You know, he's an elder or whatever, but he's not old. Because when time is not a factor, when there is no beginning, no end, or at least there's no end, be a beginning but no end, then how can you be old? You know, we're never really going to be old. We're just simply going to be, you know? So we're not going to come to that end of life type scenarios where, you know, you're getting weaker and stuff. No, we're going to be eternal, man. Just like the Most High is eternal. Just like Yahweh Shai is eternal, man. All right? They're the type of things that are not going to have any effect over us. Okay, that will be a thing that the other nations, these heathens, you know, they'll still have to, you know, die and stuff like that. So they'll get old. They'll reach the end of their lifespan eventually. You know, whether they live longer than what they do now or whatever. But they'll come to the end of their lifespan. So inevitably they'll go through, you know, certain phases before their death. But, you know, the Israelites, no. They're never going to experience that anymore. All right? But I'm going to close up with this anyway. This is the last scripture I had on my list. And this is from Sirach chapter 30. And verse 14 here, right? It says, better is the poor being sound and strong of constitution than a rich man that is afflicted in his body. Right? So you got, well, you had one guy, Stephen Hawking. Well, I don't know if I assume he was somewhat rich, but I don't really know that. He probably had money, right? But he was messed up. He was jacked up and stuck in a wheelchair, man, talking for a fucking computer, right? You can have all the money in the world, right? But there's some things that you just can't do with money, right? Money don't buy you happiness, man. Right? It don't secure your life is gonna be, you know, great from here on out. It doesn't mean that, right? Because you still got to deal with things that you can't just throw money at sometimes, you know. So it's better to have a sound body, man. You know, than being rich. All right, it says health and good estate of body are above all. So are above all gold, and a strong body above infinite wealth. Right? There you have it. There you have it, right? It's true, right? There is no riches above a sound body, and no joy above the joy of the heart. Death is bitter than a bitter life or continuous sickness. Right? So, boy, a lot of people would attest to that, man. You're in a real bad, you got a real bad ailment, man. Sometimes you wish, man, you didn't even exist, man. You know? Because you're living life like this every day, man, and it's painful psychologically, physically, you know, just to be like that, man. You kind of want to just speed your clock up, you know. That's how you feel. All right, so you can get out because you're a prisoner in your body. You know what I mean? And you just want to get out. You want the spirit to be released. You know, I know people like that. All right, so yeah, death is better than a bitter life or continuous sickness. But that's what people, you know, people here on earth, they live like that, man. Okay, they live in continuous sickness, and these are just, you know, out there pumping them with drugs, keeping on, you know, paying their taxes. You know what I'm saying? Paying for their medical bills and whatever. That's what Esau be doing, man. But like I said, it ain't meant to really be that way, and it ain't gonna be that way. You know, especially for us, it ain't gonna be that way. You know, we gonna live. Well, like I said, we gonna be eternal, man. But we ain't gonna be worrying about sicknesses and illnesses and that. But even themselves, ain't gonna be living like how people living today, man, with all this madness going on. Because they're gonna be taught how to do things properly. So that'll what's the word? Lengthen the good days of their lives, for lack of better words, man. They're gonna live fuller lives, man. Okay, without all this disease and that. But anyway, I'm gonna end it there, man. Lord, this is edifying. And I'll catch you brothers and sisters on the next video, man. So till next time I say shalom.